In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Bom dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show live stream and the podcast. How are you this morning? Como vai? Tudo bem? Como estás? Do let us know in the chat. Great morning lined up for you this morning. I'm pretty sounding a little bit knackered. It's a lovely day yesterday in the Bay. One of those lazy, crazy, hazy days of a Portuguese summer. Those days of action and something else, and I can't remember the words, but it was fantastic, and it was fantastic at the meetup yesterday. Philomena came along, we hatched some plans, received gifts as well. Actually, this is the subject of the, it could be a massive soap dish, couldn't it? It could be a science fiction thing, couldn't it? When all of the humans suddenly had one of these as a virtual reality device, and the AI implant with virtual reality visor. What is that? I do know what it is. I'm delighted to have received it from Philomena yesterday. But do you know what that is? Yeah, big soap dish. I'm going to go with big soap dish as the first guess, even though I know what it is. That's my guess this morning. Thank you so much, Philomena. The cat's tongues. Not the little kittens you saw on the screen yesterday, but the cat's tongues and the gummies that she brought over for the kids yesterday. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And the lovely tablecloth. Oh, I can do that. I don't want to break the other thing, which gives you a clue about what this is. It's ceramic. And look, I photographed it last night for the quiz on this beautiful, fabulous tablecloth. And next to that on the chair next to me is, look, there's a little bit of a first clue. A little bit of Union Jack action, Union flag action there. And a Yorkshire cat, lad. Look at that. Thank you so much to Christina and John as well. Great to see you at the meetup now in the country. And see you for lunch tomorrow with Savvy Cat Anna tomorrow too. If anyone else wants to join us for a wonderful lunch with Savvy Cat Anna tomorrow in Obidos, near Obidos tomorrow, do let me know. I think there might be a couple of spaces left for that as well. But thank you, Christina and John, for the very thoughtful Yorkshireman's flat cap, which is going to come in beautifully. Didn't see myself as a flat cap wearer, but it looks very fetching, I have to say. So thank you so much for that. And it comes with a couple of Yorkshire tea bags as well, which I shall enjoy. So fabulous to see Philomena. Tell you more about the trip that we've planned from the Caldash pickup point, most likely. So that's a good central point for the Silver Coast. And we'll be heading over on October the 7th to look at some schist villages, schist villages in central Portugal, and going to the Beirão, Licor Beirão factory. I wrote factory last night when I was describing it, and it doesn't sound right, does it? For something as beautiful as Beirão Liqueur or Licor Beirão. Production facility, I wonder what they call it, Beirão. So we'll be going there as well, and then we'll be snoozing on the bus on the way home, I suspect, back to Caldas de Rainha later on that Saturday afternoon, October the 7th. Would you like to join us? Loads of people just said immediately, yeah, I'll have some of that. And maybe it was to do with the port as well that Philomena brought over. She's the most incredible guest, clearly, as I recount the experience of yesterday and having Philomena come over to the San Martino de Porto meetup on a Wednesday, which we do every Wednesday between 1 and 3. She lavished gifts upon us and brought a wonderful port wine too. So I popped along to the Chinese shop, got some little shot cups, and we all had a port wine together. I don't know, maybe were there about 20 of us yesterday at the meetup? Not sure. Oh, the Beral Nectar Nursery. That's what it should be called forevermore. Distillery, that's also good, James. Yes, good morning to you both, T-Duck and Beral. Beral Nectar Nursery. I think they'll like that. So that's going to be great fun, isn't it? Caldash to the Schist Villages. I said I was going to tell you more about that later. I've told you everything now, apart from how to book it, because I don't know how to do that yet. But we've got lots of yeses, and people stood around at Palmera yesterday, sipping port wine, saying, "Yes, this is great, Philomena, Mrs. Ambassador, you treat us beautifully. We shall be on that coach." So that's looking like some great fun already. Not far away, really, is it? If you think about it, we're almost into the middle of August. Not meaning to wish our lives are months away here, but we're almost into the middle of August here. Then September, and then 7th of October, we'll be on that bus, on that midnight bus to Beral, the Beral Nectar Nursery. Oh, is Garvo in this morning? So I just saw a message for Garvo there. Excellent. So yeah, let us know if you'd like that, and I think it'll be Philomena who'll be organising that, and organising the bus, of course, remotely from Miranda de Corvo, where she lives, from where the mystery item comes. This made by neighbours of hers, I understand. So what is that? That's the quiz question of the day. Come back to that more formally later. And delighted to let you know that we'll be playing bingo today. And that's in the company of Cátia Lima, the Beyond Lisbon blogger, Cátia Lima. Always great fun talking to her. And when she's around, the Portugueeza joins us as well, of course, and he'll be here at 7. Why am I saying 7:30? 7:30 tonight is when I'll be hosting the D7 visa discussion. Hey, EA will be here in the building tonight. I'm trying to find my bingo card, and I definitely, or did I just copy it rather than download it? I've got to just open Facebook now, which might crash the show. We're playing bingo today, Portuguese Summer Bingo, and Cátia's made the most amazing. What's this grated fan? Oh, Man Cave Community Facebook page. Got to be careful opening that up when the district nurse or the vicar is around. But yeah, big bingo this morning with Cátia Lima, and she's very thoughtfully put together a bingo card. I wonder how well you will score on this when we play later, when Cátia joins us after 9 this morning. I need to just open it up and download it now, and I can give you a quick flash if you like. I can give you a quick preview of the Portuguese Summertime Bingo. I need to keep me powder dry and my nose clean on this, so to speak. I just realised how terrible that sounds, keeping powder dry and one's nose clean. No such activities, no Hunter Biden business here, thank you very much, in the mornings. Allegedly, Zelensky as well. Oh, well, they like that lot. Allegedly. Okay, T-Duck in with God's and a God's God tip of the day from Coach Turner. No band needed today. Not the backing band, but the elastic band. A deep thought from Tim Ferriss. Oh, another one from the wonderful Tim Ferriss. Milan was at the meetup. He's a big fan of Tim Ferriss. He was saying on the catch-up yesterday. And the Quem Sabia today about the Portuguese Navy, which leads on nicely, doesn't it, from YMCA yesterday to in the Navy. You can probably have a good meal, get yourself clean, and hang out with all the boys too in the Navy. Right. And special advice, because Sue's joined us as well. Sue's joined us at the meetup yesterday. Thank you for making the effort, Suze. You come a long way to join us. And words of wisdom this morning, a deep thought. And just a reminder, don't leave cheese in the bag. Another a gift. It's like the nativity story yesterday, wasn't it? Wise men and women bearing gifts. Sue's brought us a Saya cheese from the area in which she lives, of course, over there near Saya, and brought the eponymous cheese. And now you mention it, Suze, or now I've cut and pasted that comment that you sent me yesterday. That cheese might still be in Mrs. M's bag. Jimmy Chew will be very interested. The dogs will be circling. I'm sure the kittens will be circling Mrs. M's backpack. Don't worry. Even if it did get left in the bag overnight, I am still eating it. I didn't get any yesterday, actually. Everyone else was tucking in. So thank you very much. Could that become a tradition at meetups? Bring cheese. Now, I believe it's the Portimao meetup as well. Any representatives from the Portimao meetup with us yet? Is Victoria here? Not yet. She's not here with her Hola, bon dia, kids. Just yet. She may well be, of course. I could possibly join you at the Beryl factory. It's overdue since we covered it on the Wine Club. I think I still have the contact of the nice lady who was on the show with us that night. Well, let's do it. Let's get back in touch with her, Garvo. Good to see you, mate. And I haven't had a chance to look at your video yet, which you sent me. And I didn't realize that until late last night. That you sent me another of your fantastic videos. So no, not yet. Not because I don't want to. I always enjoy seeing and watching your videos. And I'm looking forward to this one. Now, I'm not even sure. Oh, filmed another video. Down by the river. Is this the one we're talking about? Down by the river. Next few days have some nice footage to share. So that's looking forward to that. I'll have a look after the show, Garvo, and get back to you. I don't need to assess, review, or consider if your videos are worthy of sharing. I would play it now. But I suspect you'd like me to have a look at it first before I share it with everybody. Your videos are always excellent, and your spiritual workout is how I will refer to it now. That's on the learnaboutportugal.com resources as one of our many repositories of information, guidance, and insight. Over 20 over there currently as we speak. An amazing collection that helps everyone learn something new about Portugal every day, and probably for the rest of their lives if I've got anything to do with it. No barbecues or mirrors were used, just out by the pool. However, we did do 41.3 in the shade the other day, so God knows what it was out in the sun. Well over 50, I would guess. Okay, I think that I'm catching the tail end of a conversation between temperature comparisons with Alviagra and Orca Fundal as well. Pam, good morning. Good to see you as well. How are you doing? Mr. S. Mr. S, I think we've got you for good, haven't we? Great to see you here as well. And Anna Olsen, the Swede in Portugal. You're the Swede, not a Swede, Anna. Bon dia con alegria from VRSA this morning. My month in Sweden has been super cold and rainy. Time to warm up. So are you back then? Judging by the photos, you are. I'm not entirely sure, though. Your morning, look at that beautiful photograph. We get such beautiful photographs from Anna. Not only great video from Garvo, but also fabulous photographs from Anna too, and others, I should add. That was a great pic yesterday that we finished with from Owen. That I'm going to see what you sent to me via WhatsApp on 00351 if you need the country code. 913-590-303. Bon dia, you say. Now back from a cold Stockholm, 13 degrees there today. And so that's not a cold Stockholm. That's Portimao. Where are we looking at there? We are looking at your home view in Portugal. And I could have believed that was Stockholm. That does look a bit chilly, but that's some Portuguese sun there, isn't it? I know it's the same sun, but it's got a Portuguese filter on it right there. And the other picture you sent us, Anna, if you do want to clarify the confusion I've created this morning, is can you see what she said was a camarão in this picture? So I'm looking for a prawn in this picture, thinking, why is there a prawn in the grass? Which is probably also a Portuguese idiom or saying, isn't it? Beware the prawn in the grass that your grandma told you about as you're growing up in Portugal. It's chameleon, isn't it? And you can barely see it, which is, of course, the whole point of being a chameleon. To the right of the image, there is a lizard-like creature who I believe is the camarão, or how it was changed from chameleon to camarão with your predictive text on WhatsApp. With my new phone, the predictive text is intense and seriously unhelpful, which is a great irony, isn't it? Because it's meant to be helpful. And it just does my head in. Even when I correct it, it asserts itself, like, no, I'm sure you meant to say camarão and not. No, of course I'm saying chameleon. It's a chameleon. Thank you. Road to hell, good intentions, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and Mark Rigby, I saw this on his. Thank you, Anna, by the way, and welcome back to Portugal. Mark Rigby saw this on his timeline yesterday. Proibido afichar azulejos. The tiles, of course, the azulejo blue tiles, blue and white tiles. Generally speaking, other colors are available. Portuguese tiles, do not fix your azulejos here. And what's so great about that is they are properly distressed and weathered. Those, isn't it nice? It's not a triptych. Is it a quadratic? Azulejo, the whole picture made up of 4 separate tiles forming the border around them, and someone's tried to chip it off because no, you're not meant to stick azulejos there. Stick your azulejo somewhere else where the sun don't shine. Oh, and a visual dad joke, but there needs to be a warning for this bad boy, which dates back many centuries, I think, long before photographs of dad jokes were circulated on social media is where this one dates back to. Carbon dating's needed for this old visual dad joke this morning, which we shall return to after we've had a look at a few comments. And it's already flipping 8:47. Well, it's as though I've been sat here talking loads this morning. Right, let's get some order here, shall we? And thank you, Mark Rigby, for. Or sometimes I'll be seeing something on Facebook, and I'll send a simply "May I" as a comment, and Mark Rigby knew exactly what I meant. Yes, of course you can. He said he's a gentleman. He's up there in Portugal. Good morning to you this morning, Mark. I hope you're doing well up there. Good, turns out to have been a very good choice, doesn't it? Portugal, trendsetter, settling in the north of Portugal there. Still on the tube line, on the metro line for Porto. Ian Turner, Coach Turner, Bom dia, Gumpers, como estás? Taking some of the grandchildren paddleboarding. You've got a lot of grandchildren to choose from, of course, this morning. Oh, paddleboarding, fantastic. Where are you doing that in the UK? Luckily, I'll be looking after one of the smaller ones, so won't be embarrassing myself. Or if you do, little kids don't care about that, do they? God Squad tip of the day. It's a GOG Squad tip of the day this morning. No band needed today, but still working on the hip area. Oh, the hip's not lying this morning. Standing with your feet apart and your toes pointing outwards at 45 degrees, that is. Squat down as far as you can with your knees at that same angle. Oh, this sounds like a tough one, doesn't it? On the thighs and hamstrings. This is known by some as a sumo squat and particularly works the muscles on the inside of the groin as well as the quads and glutes. Usually build up to 3 sets of 10, but don't overdo it. Right now, with the combined help of Coach Turner, who's been encouraging me for the last couple of years. When did we first think of doing the God Squad? Or when did you first put that idea forward, Coach Turner? The gentle fitness for bon viveurs, the growing old disgracefully, which is another thing you can get access to at learnaboutportugal.com. When did we first get that together? It was just a couple of years ago, wasn't it? When I first ran semi-naked along Cilio de Porto Beach, frightening well, I was going to say the horses, probably not, to be fair, but certainly a bus full of nuns that were passing by at the time. Thank you for your continued encouragement and contributions, Coach Turner. I am adding to this some intensity from Streak Pro. Recorded an interview with Henry last night, who's telling us about his turbocharge of his program. They run a gym, Henry and Nina. They've been staying with us for the last few days. It's been fantastic having them here and learning more about their business. And he's been very gentle with me so far. He didn't need to be. He could have called me out big time. But I guess that's not how we roll here, is it, in our community? We're gently encouraging. But the time has come for me to embark on a more serious level of personal fitness, which I shall be doing. I know I was blathering on about the shape up program. Does anyone want to join me? No, nobody wanted to join me on that. Was it because you thought I'd never get around to it, or is it because you'll look away or recede into the hedge like Homer Simpson every time it's mentioned? But whether you're coming with me or not on this journey, I'm on it. And it's going to be an 8-week program, very focused with Henry. A time to get rid of the man boobs and the pinching of an inch or two on the belly, and really going for it, getting someone. I won't be looking like Robert Kennedy Jr., will I? I don't think, as some of you said at the time, but I'm going to start sculpting my body. And I should be building on the principles of the God Squad training program, revisiting that and turbocharging it with some input from Henry as well. It's going to be pretty comprehensive. It's going to be quite demanding, I think, but I'm actually really looking forward to it after the conversation I had with Henry last night. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers from T-Duck then at 8:06. And yeah, if you do want to join me, the more the merrier. You know, we've got Phil, haven't we, pounding the streets of the UK, walking 1 million steps and more. He was going to make 1 million for charity. It turns out he's done 1 million steps and raising a bucket load of money, a van load full of money for Diabetes UK. So well done, Phil. Whilst, after we've said we're doing it and we've looked at a few photos and people have maybe sent a little bit of sponsorship money, it goes out of everyone else's mind, but still rests with the perpetrator, the owner of that idea, and that's Phil. And I was thinking of Phil. Yeah, there he is, pounding the streets every day. Long after we've had that conversation, he's still doing it. He's out there in the streets of London, come rain or shine, with those 1 million+ steps. So keep up the good work, Phil. Anyone else want to do something like that? Let us know, and we could get some strength and solidarity together in our endeavours. Deep thought then from Tim Ferriss, who I think would approve of what we're about to embark on. Are you better off than you were a year ago, 1 month ago, or 1 week ago? If not, things will not improve by themselves. That is so timely, isn't it? Brilliant. Ferriss, of course, well known for his 4-hour self-help book series, including the 4-hour work week, the 4-hour body. Do I need to get that as well? That's not 4 hours a day, hopefully. That's 4 hours a week. But anyway, I feel like I'm in good hands with Coach Turner and Henry, who will be helping me on my endeavours with the body work. And it's good to see that Tim Ferriss has done something similar. What else did he do? Or what else can you do in 4 hours and get some results? So good question. Are you better off than you were 1 year ago, 1 month ago, or 1 week ago? If not, things will not improve by themselves. That is the truth, isn't it? Amen to that. There's so many things in life. Well, I guess we're very lucky and blessed and can be very grateful for the fact that we don't have to make the sun come up or the illusion thereof every morning. Lots of things are taken care of by our, in the universe and our parasympathetic and so on, all these unconscious systems that we can just ease into or enjoy all the time. So then, maybe it's not such a bad thing that we have a little bit of work to do ourselves as well. Maybe it's if we see it as 80-20, most of life is taken care of, isn't it? 80% of life is taken care of. The 20% that is our own personal responsibility might well give us 80% of the joy that we experience in life. I just threw that together there on the spur of the moment. Not like everything else on this show, which is carefully planned and rehearsed overnight, The Quem Sabia then, the Portuguese Navy, the Marinha Portuguesa. Actually, I moved on too hastily from Filomena. We'll come back to the Portuguese Navy. I've got a video to play you. This is fun, making this, and it'll give me a chance to have a sip of tea as well. Hold on. So what are the chances? You get into a lift in San Martinho de Porto, and you're looking at the view behind you there as we come up in the Tourist Information Centre. And I walk into the lift, and look who's here with me! Filomena! It's almost like Filomena Friday. Thanks for coming, Filomena. Look at this view. What do you think?
Amazing. Very beautiful.
There we go. That's our little tourist office elevator, and we're going to go and have a look up here at the view and take it in a little bit. What brings you here?
You.
Fantastic. Let's have a look at that view. Isn't that great? There's a little bit of Portuguese vocabulary from that lady just passing us there. Hoje. That's great, isn't it? And and while we speak of Filomena and Portuguese vocabulary, tomorrow, Filomena is Filomena Friday, of course, tomorrow. So make sure you're with us. More fun. I'm getting more than my fair share of Filomena this week.
Filomena Friday.
It will be that tomorrow. And she was asking, what would you like to do? And I asked a couple of questions, things that have been on my mind, such as when you're in a shop or a cafe and you're ordering or you're asking for things, someone might say to you, "Esol," or "Imais," as well. But "Esol," is that all? And I had trouble sort of breaking that down as I was, I know what it means, but I couldn't visualize how it might be spelled, and asked Filomena to break it down for me. Do you have moments like that as well during your month between seeing Filomena on the screen here? Do you think, I must ask Filomena about that when she's next on Filomena Friday, which will be tomorrow? So if there's any Portuguese language or culture questions that you have, tell me now, or PM them to me on WhatsApp 913-590-303, and we will get some great information, as we always do, from Filomena. But if you'd like to shape the content tomorrow, if there are specific questions you'd like to learn about, she wants to talk about the A2 actually tomorrow. So anything you'd like to know, do let me know. And she very firmly squished the rumor that over 60s would not need to do the A2. If you are mentally challenged, if you have a mental disability or special needs that would prohibit you from learning the language, that is a attenuating or excusing factor. If you've been married to somebody, a Portuguese person, for a number of years. I forget what the threshold is, but also if you marry a Portuguese person, you don't have to do the language test either. You are excused from that. I think those are pretty much the only exclusions. Being over 60 is not one of them, I'm afraid to tell you, although that was a rumor that was going around. Back to the Portuguese Navy as we anticipate the arrival of Cátia Lima. It's almost 9 o'clock, can't believe it. And flying by this morning, the Keynes Sevilla. Then back to the Portuguese Navy, who you saw the little bay of São Martinho de Porto. The legend has it that Vasco da Gama built some of his fleet there in one of the early versions of the Portuguese Navy. I guess, would he be called Navy? I'm not sure, but certainly the great Vasco da Gama, whose name you will see immortalized on many things here in Portugal, bridges and streets. And no doubt, well, every kind of roadway will have bear his name around the country. Portuguese Navy, then, Marinha Portuguesa is the naval branch of the armed forces, which, in cooperation with the other branches, is charged with the military defense of Portugal. In 2017, the Portuguese Navy commemorated the 700th anniversary of its creation by King Dinis of Portugal, with its origins in the 12th century. So there you go. It is the oldest continuously serving navy in the world. That's amazing. And you know, I'm not surprised to hear that. You know, seafaring nation with so much of its history based in and around boats. The Navy and in ocean-going vessels. The Navy played a key role during the great voyages of the Age of Discoveries in the 15th and 16th centuries, resulting in technical and scientific discoveries that led them to develop advanced ships. Today, the Portuguese Navy assumes a dual role capacity, combat missions to assure Portugal's sovereignty and international commitments, and Coast Guard operations in its territorial waters. Squirreling away the dad jokes, and thanking you this morning, T-Duck, for that research into the Portuguese Navy, which will, of course, be banked over at learnaboutportugal.com. A couple of minutes to go after we've said a few more hellos, and we'll be playing Summertime Bingo, Portuguese Summer Bingo with Cátia in just a moment. Bom dia a todos, said James, who's mad about saffron this week, the mellow yellow himself. If it's mellow yellow, let it mellow. No, that's something different, isn't it? Bom dia a todos, feliz quinta, como tem pasado? And, oh, hold on a minute. Dad just trying to sneak in a blooming dad joke there. I'll do yours now, I think. The dad joke doctor will see you now. Where's it gone? Has somebody stolen the dad joke warning? No,
Warning. Warning.
We can double up on screen here with both of your offerings this morning. When cannibals ate a missionary, they got a taste of religion. That is very good, actually, I have to say. Your visual dad joke is an oldie but goodie. Everyone's seen this in the past, which is a clue to the joke here. Interested in time travel? We'll meet here last Thursday at 7 p.m. Very good. Thank you very much, James. I think he's enjoying keeping his eye out for the corniest of humor around the social media sphere. Thank you for sharing this morning. Bon dia, then, from Anna, who's delighted, I think, to be back from Sweden. And there's further information about the chameleon. It's a chameleon, not a camarão. Although, whilst a chameleon could do a good impersonation of a camarão, not vice versa, I suspect. Mr. S is otimamente I'm just mad about saffron. Eva say, a nice one, Mr. S, making a great effort to speak Portuguese. A bon dia alegria from Peter as well earlier on. The sage advice from Suze: don't leave cheese in your bag. The softer the cheese, the more trouble you're likely to be in as well. Which reminds me, I've got one of those lovely azulejo-based packaged cheeses, a cheesy threesome. Which doesn't sound like the most delightful thing if first thing in the morning or any other time. But I have to have some semi-hard cheese to deal with in the fridge, not in my bag. I'm going to reverse out of that cul-de-sac right now. Good morning, all. Just popping in to say hi before a day working in the furnace. Wow. And Garva may well join us at the Berau, the Nectar Nursery. We missed your usual posting of a thermometer on top of a mirror on top of a barbecue in full sun, but no need with these 40+ temperatures. Oh, bit of banter, a bit of we've got the hottest weather banter going on there. Bringing cheese in these temperatures could be very risky. brings back memories of coaches full of kids and mistimed early visits to goat's cheese factories and atmospheres you can cut with a knife. Happy times. Suze, bon dia gang. Great to see you yesterday. It's a video dedicated to you, a water sign, Carl. We must go here. It's so you, mate. Okay, I'm in. I can't wait to watch the video now. There are some quality issues. You're a perfectionist. That's why there are quality issues, Gary. I don't think I'll even notice on the video before you show it, Carl. All right, I will check it. Lee Valley White Water Centre is where Coach Turner's doing the paddleboarding, a proper legacy from the 2012 Olympics. And Motard Squid is in. Hey, intermittent fasting is great. So great to see you, Motard Squid. And I think you're here to see your pal, the Portuguesa. You can join us on screen, Motard Squid, if you want. Filomena is here as well. Ontem tivemos uma tarde fantástica com amigos em SMTP. Obrigado, Carlitos. Obrigado, yo. To you, Filomena. I had a fantastic time with you. Thank you so much for making the effort and coming over. And Filomena, message from Sue. She's in for the parsnip thing. Oh, I say, we'll sort out a meeting place. Okay, and don't forget, we are on the 7th of October going from Caldas de Rainha to the schist villages and popping into the Berão Nectar Nursery as well. Anyone else who's here that I haven't said hello to before we say hi to Cátia Beyond Lisbon from Sarah as well this morning. So shout out if you're watching. That's not everybody accounted for. I know that. There are lurkers here. So do say hi. I was talking to a lurker the other day who said, I don't say hello because other people say hello to me, and then I feel rude if I don't say hello back. If you want to practice being rude or be forgiven, we do understand that some people can't be here for the full 90 minutes in full conversation mode, but we do love it when you say hi. Let's give her a nice big round of applause and welcome her onto the screen. It is, of course, the great Cátia Lima.
Hey,
Cátia, you didn't do your normal arrival.
oh yeah, sorry.
I was waiting for that. Right.
Bom dia.
Bom dia. Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, sim. E contigo?
Muito bem, obrigado. Muito bem. I have one of these in my hand here, which looks like it's from Doctor Who, the science fiction show, doesn't it? This is my new augmented reality, virtual reality visor, programmed with AI from the Central Portugal region. That is our quiz question. Don't tell us what it is yet. And I don't know if it forms part of our bingo game that we'll be playing today with you, created by you. I think you need to be selling that to Hasbro, maybe. Who might want to pick it up and run it. You're doing well, are you? You've been nice and busy and keeping nice and warm this Portuguese summer?
Yeah. New responsibilities. I need to get a webcam on the side because this one is really also maybe just okay.
You're blending it's just like I feel like I'm going to heaven. You know,
I am becoming one with the lights.
That's right, the bright lights. Cátia, I'm not ready to go yet.
Say goodbye to your friends and family, Carl.
So new responsibilities as well as
yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, you can now call me Miss Manager. I am the new managing editor of the Portugal Letter magazine.
Check you out, the Portugal Letter magazine. Okay.
Yeah.
So, is that a promotion or a new position? What's the deal?
I started out writing features for them.
Yeah.
On Portuguese cities with information, not so much on on the touristy side of things, but with there was a bit of historical background, etc., and what is there to do and places to go and see and things to see. But there was also a lot of information. There still a lot of information on practical sides of living in those places, like in Lisbon and Porto, Coimbra, etc. So, and that people who are potentially considering moving here, or maybe they're already living here, but they're considering going to another place, etc. And then some time ago, earlier this year, they basically asked me if I wanted to be managing editor, and I said yes. So we tried it out for a few months. Everyone was happy, and now it's official. Yeah.
Congratulations! More of this. That's fantastic. So, what if you're a managing editor? I guess you're moving from being a contributor into the role of overseeing other people's contributions and maybe commissioning things as well. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Also, it also has to do with, well, coming up with topics for the columns. Like, for example, we have one that has been featuring recipes a lot, which is interesting,
nice.
of course. Yeah, Portuguese recipes.
Yeah. Yes.
But there are some changes now in the future, still within that food-drink field, but there will be some changes. So it has to do basically with, I will still be contributing. I will be contributing more, actually, but it has to do, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. It has to do a lot with, making decisions and, of course, creative risks and a bigger responsibility, of course.
Well,
for someone like me, who's used to being behind the curtain and usually happy about it, I thought, well, it's a challenge. Why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah. Well, I think it just sounds wonderful to me. Yeah. And congratulations and good luck in the new. I'm sure you'll be fantastic. Absolutely brilliant at the job. And people will be looking forward to what you do. And I'm not the only one who I think did a hasty Google search on Portugal Letter magazine. I'm not finding a lot. I mean, does managing editor also involve speaking to the SEO and the marketing and web team to get you a higher profile? Tell us more about Portugal.
Can send them a note.
How do we find it?
Share a link.
Please do. Yeah, give us a link. Give us a link in the back office here, and I'll make sure everybody's got that, and so that everybody's subscribed or however else we can access. So is it a standalone thing, or is the Portugal Letter magazine part of another bigger organization?
Yeah, it is. It's part of it's one of the magazines that's part of the Live and Invest Overseas organization. They have several magazines for several destinations. They have for Switzerland, Belize, Panama, etc.
Okay, all right. So I can share that link as you sent it to me, can I? And then people will be able to.
It's a paid subscription, so unfortunately I cannot share. The whole thing. Obviously,
no. Fair enough. I applaud a publication that is brave enough these days to say you got to buy it. You've got to pay for this thing. So there you go. And James is among the first to send in congratulations. In case you're wondering, I'm just mad about saffron, is James. Parabéns to you, Cátia, as well.
Thank you.
And if people want to subscribe, that they can do that here. So it's part of liveandinvestoverseas.com, as you say, the franchise effectively. And there you are. Does that mean, Cátia, that you'll also be traveling internationally to meet the other managing editors of the respective publications around the world?
I know. That would be lovely, but I'm not sure if it will happen. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great to go to Belize or one of the other countries?
Yes. There's Malta as well, for example. I think they have one in Malta. Yeah.
And then at some point you might be the host of the Portugal-based gathering of the editors and the people involved in the publication. Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You will still be able to fit us in, won't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're lucky, Carl.
Yes, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And your brilliant idea. I mean, this is why you got chosen for the job, because you have great ideas like this. The Portuguese Summertime Bingo. Now, at the risk of hiding us both, I think we need to sort of maybe do a column at a time, perhaps. And you're encouraging people to play this at home, aren't you? Because you might think you have to be Portuguese to play this, but really, this is also a test of how Portuguese you are or are becoming, right? If you live in
yeah. To some extent, I mean, I'd just like to add that this will be on the blog later today.
Oh, excellent, great.
So all the explanations I'll be giving here will also be on the blog post. Super. So the idea is that you can print out that card or just download it to your tablet, phone, whatever, and play with your friends.
Yay!
or you can even turn this into a drinking game. Think about it.
Yes. I was there.
Every time you scratch off one of those, you can have a drink. Right?
How about that? Why don't we, on the 7th of October, we could take this to the Beral factory. So we've got 15 shots of Beral potentially there. Or I think it's 14, isn't it? Plus the flag in the middle. But then you get a celebratory extra drink.
Yeah.
And you get the official Cátia Lima award for enjoying the Portuguese summertime at its best. This is superb. Let's have a look at that first column then. Well, it's up to you. How do you want to work your way across the board here?
I don't know. You want to do, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be horizontally, I think.
Oh, okay. So we'll go from
I'm
left
not
to right.
great at bingo, so but I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's one of those. Everybody knows what bingo is, but not everybody plays it, do they? On a professional level. I mean, some people are really serious about bingo, and I think you actually around the world you can earn quite a lot of money, can't you? Or not earn, but occasionally be lucky enough, the luck of the draw to win, or the luck of the balls, I suppose, coming out of the ball machine. And some people do get quite addicted to it and can win big amounts of money. No prizes today, apart from the fun and joy of discovering how Portuguese you are when it comes to enjoying summer. So the first one, and get your comments in, everybody. So take it away, Cátia.
Okay, so first one, go to the beach. Pretty basic, right? Including river beach. So for those who don't live near the sea, or who and I've seen those who think that, oh my God, the waves of the Atlantic, they're too rough, no, too violent, I can't handle it. Well, there's also the river beach as an option.
San Martinho de Porto, of course, with its Shell Bay. Okay, I think I'm hoping that everybody is hit the ground running this morning, or swimming, as it turns out. And we can, I mean, I did that yesterday. I was in the water yesterday with the kids. It was fantastic. It was a lovely end to the meetup. Actually, no, it turns out it was only the middle part of the meetup, because the partying and which I'm sure is another part of what goes on this bingo card. We enjoyed the meetup went on from 1 or 12:30 when I got there to meet Philomena, right through to yesterday evening. I love those kind of days, and we certainly tick that box. Go to the beach, including a river beach. Let us know in the chat how you're doing so far. I think it's going to be 100% for everybody. And next, then, Cátia.
Next, attend or host a barbecue. And everyone knows what a barbecue is, right? I suppose. I would just like to point out that in Portugal, especially in the summer, barbecues tend to rely heavily on grilled fish.
Yes.
So it's not just meat. So,
no, right. That's special note to the Brits there. It's not just about burning sausages. Other things are available to put on.
And there's always plus all the sides, like a personal favorite, salad de pimentos. The roasted bell pepper salad.
Oh yes, definitely.
I love that.
Yeah, that's done on the grill as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I think most people are going to be doing pretty well. I might, however, say we're doing pretty well. I have definitely barbecued this year and within the summertime season. I've failed though from the point of view of inviting other people. These have been just, like what I see is like, the Portuguese alpha male will be barbecuing fairly regularly, won't they? They'll just be thinking, okay, today's the day when I'm going to crack open a Sagres or Superboc and grill a bit of fish. And it's just normal to do that. Hosting a barbecue is a bit different, isn't it? That's another level of detail and commitment.
Yeah. But it's not, again, it's special. It's not uncommon, especially at this time of the year, to gather family and friends and just host a very informal sort of barbecue. Everyone brings something like a dessert or a drink or something, an appetizer, something like that, and you just spend the day there. Just
There's
always something coming out of the grill, so.
Yeah, right. And the typically Portuguese, I would say, and I would like to think I'm becoming more Portuguese on this basis, is the barbecue I've got. I don't know if you've noticed this, Cátia, but when a lot of Americans are moving over, and in their container shipment, they might have one of those walk-in barbecues. Like they've got a walk-in fridge. They might have a walk-in barbecue, which is also a smoker, a cappuccino machine. You can connect your Tesla to it and convert the heat into electricity, etc. Me, I inherited a barbecue not much bigger than my head. I know I've got a big head, but for scale purposes, this is just a little basket of maybe a foot across, and I
Black,
barbecue
right?
just 1 foot. What is that? A third of a meter across. And I barbecue for the whole family on that. And I would like to think that's quite a Portuguese thing to do. None of you are
Yeah,
all
yeah.
singing and dancing, plugging them in and gas and everything. Charcoal from the shop and a tiny little thing in a corner of the garden, and you're good to go, right? No showing off.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Right,
need
so
a lot of, you don't need a lot to have fun. Basically.
Exactly. And this was inherited. It was in a corner of the garden. It's rusty, but it works brilliantly. Okay, so we go back to, we connect with number 1 here on the card, don't we? And the bolos de Belém at the beach, which
Yeah.
is why that particular confectionery at the beach? Why not the pastel de nata, for example?
I honestly, I don't know. I think that this tradition showed up around sometime in the late 70s or the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you'll find bolos de Berlim year round in any Portuguese cafe or pastry shop, even in supermarkets they'll have it sometimes. But it's something. It's actually very common to hear people say, this is good, but it tastes even better on the beach.
Yes.
Getting to the beach in Orisara, yeah, it's a bit tricky. And it's something we highly associate with the beach. And then, of course, there's the person, I don't know if you've ever seen it, the person selling bolos de Berlim on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Usually it's the men, they all dress fairly, usually
white.
with that white box.
Yes.
And they have this kind of yell dash singing bit announcing the bolos de Berlim. And they also have something which is a kind of a wafer called língua da sogra, mother-in-law's tongue, because it's long.
Yeah, okay. Say no more. Then covered in sand. It's like sandpaper.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I see my theory, and it's definitely happening in San Martin de Porto. We're very lucky here. There's an amazing guy who dresses in white, like he's been baking them. He's come straight from the bakery, still in his whites, and he's got this great big white box on wheels with these great big tires on. And he's walking along, and he is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I think, what the fuck is going on? Is someone,
and you have to wave so you can see you.
That's right.
Well, usually the kids will wave. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids, but we've also got Atelier de Dos, which is, I think they make some of the finest bolos de Berlim in the whole country, and they are not far from San Martino de Porto. They've got an amazing production facility bakery, and they're driving their cakes all over, including the legendary bolos de Berlim around all of Lisbon, I think. And this is a sort of company that would also get them on a plane to fly them out to Dubai or whatever. They are superb, and they've got a much more stylish. They've taken it into the sort of next generation. There's handsome young people with I see a backpack or a front pack possibly, and a stylish Atelier de Dos flag, and they're not shouting. They're just walking on the beach, being good looking, whilst. and you say, yes, that's right. Would you like to try one of my bolos? And yes. They come over, and so there is a traditional guy and there's the new Atelier de Dos guy. And my theory about why it's so popular is because if you get sand on it, you don't know. It's like, are you crunching through sugar or are you eating sand? Yeah, and a yellow custard helps as well, doesn't it? Because that also helps the sand blend in.
But now you also have some with instead you can buy them simple without filling, and now you also have some with chocolate filling and then another new filling.
Nutella is
Aha, you know it.
Absolutely. And you go to Atelier de Dos and you say uma de cada, and you get a box with about 12 different fillings in. Brilliant, absolutely delicious. If you ever come over this way, I am taking you to Atelier de Dos. Okay. We need to get through this bingo card. I'm distracting you, aren't I? With perhaps
no, it's okay.
Too many questions this morning. Okay. Moving along the top then. Oh, okay. This shouldn't be difficult at this time of year.
No. Go to at least one local festa.
Yes.
Festa here is a broad umbrella term. It can be. It's usually a local celebration of some kind, like a religious day or the day when the the town got the what do you call those? Official recognition from the king or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
But there's always a festa going on in the summer. There's always a festa going on around somewhere in the country.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
That shouldn't be difficult then, should it? So to
no,
getting along,
no.
and I think most people will have done that tonight. Oh, we've got serious questions coming in and comments. So we'll complete this line and then we'll go to your comments and questions. I've definitely done this one, and
Yeah.
I've been, what happens here in summer? This is definitely a thing, and I'm getting my Sharpie pen and ticking that box, Cátia. What's happening?
But the complaining about prices in
Yeah,
touristy places. Well,
yeah,
yes, of course.
yeah. I mean, you got to avoid a restaurant that wraps anything in cling film and greets you with some sardine pate as soon as you sit down. You know it's going to be expensive. If you're not Portuguese and you just go, no, 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 no. You need to assert yourself from the get-go, don't you? I am not a tourist. I do not expect to be paying double for what I would have had
Yeah, it also depends, a bit on the place. If you're on the main strip, it's probably going to be expensive and not necessarily good. So, but that's the same everywhere, right?
But that's adding insult to injury, isn't it? That's that. You know what you just said there is what sticks in my craw. Like, fair enough. You know, people have got to make a living, and tourist prices are different. This is the same the world over, isn't it? But when the food's not very good as well, that's not great, is it? You know, you pay double and the food's half as good. That is a bad taste left in the mouth there. Let's see what everyone's saying. How many have you got so far, everybody? You got a lot of congratulations coming in as well, Cátia.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, where did we get to? Oh, Lindsay Stefan is here. Good morning to you, Lindsay. Good to see you. I'm not sure if we've made your acquaintance before. I think we might have, but not a regular. But maybe you will be as a result of Portuguese Summer Bingo this morning. Smash that like button, says T-Duck. And hola, Cátia, from James, who's also congratulating to you tomorrow. Oh, and Philomena is loving the questions, so get them in, and we'll cover those tomorrow on the language and more culture tomorrow. I slept in till moments before saying hi. Sure, appreciate replay. If only I could do that as well. I wonder if Elon Musk will allow me to do that at some point. So with his technology, give it a go today. The results are unsurprisingly warm, Mr. S. That weekend, Philomena Pashkal was brilliant. It was brilliant last year. Over 40 different dancers in traditional costumes. Oh, this is a parsnip festival. And that counts as a festa, I think, for the bingo card. Oh, and of course, I don't know if this is on the bingo card. Sexy cows and tractors as well. You might see those, you might not at the festa you go to. Congratulations, Cátia.
Thank you.
Parabéns, Cátia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and can we also say collective community congratulations? We certainly can. I saw this to Joseph Marsh and the Marsh family on their announcement of their new baby coming yesterday. The announcement was made yesterday. The baby's not going to be here for a little while yet. But yes, well said, Pete. Fantastic. Well done, the Marshes. That's always the fun bit, isn't it? The making the baby. I don't know. Getting to the beach in Ericeira is a tricky bit, says James there. No joke, by the way. That wasn't a funny. In the high season on weekends, it's going to be tough there in Ericeira. Suggestion for tonight then for the D7 webinar: clarify or let people know about the absences allowed. Oh, that's his 2-year, 3-year, 6-month, 8-month continuous blah. Yes, as you can probably tell then, Mr. S. Even though I've interviewed Gilles and team many times about this, I'll leave it to the professionals to explain that tonight, 7:30 at D7 Review. Pete suggesting we have done at least half of them. Great list, says Cátia. You could add drink caipirinha, capi beirão. Oh, there's a new one. Or a capi black. What's a capi black? Or all three, if you really want to get the party started in quick succession. Cheers, Mr. S, for your suggestion there. Just a little reminder, if you haven't barbecued yet, there is a Man Cave barbecue at Carl's at the end of the month. Not mine, the other Carl Hyde. And I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to that. So that can be on the bingo card. If you haven't gone to a barbecue before then, you can get along to the Man Cave barbecue at Carl Hyde's at the end of the month. What about eating bifana? Is it because it's not very summery, Cátia, that it's not included in the bingo card?
I mean, I couldn't include all the summer activities right in the card, but I mean, I thought about adding also something like getting a sunburn, but then I thought, well, no.
No, because British people get sunburn in the winter, so
so
it wouldn't work.
No, bifana, yeah, bifana is also a summer classic, although not exclusively, something you'll eat only in the summer,
Yeah,
especially because it's something you can. It's very often found in the festas.
yes.
You'll have every little stall there making their own version of bifanas. There's
Yes.
also always a little bit of a personal touch, but bifanas is something you can eat year round. So it's hard.
Yeah, and I think it's like coffee, pastel de natas, and petiscos. It has to be there because I
Yeah.
was I was at the pit stop at the Soli Finesse concession stall with Dan and Bev, and a Portuguese guy came up and he's like "Tem bifanas" to Dan, and Dan was like, what's he saying? And I look at me, Katia, I was translating. And I said, this gentleman would like a bifana. And I said, now bifana aquí, pointing him down the beat. And he was proper grumpy. There has to be a bifana stall, doesn't there? Otherwise, I think there could be a riot.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in the summertime. A cultural question for you from James. Serious question. Is potluck or even bringing food, even food to grill, to an informal barbecue in Portugal? So, yeah.
It depends. I'm going to say it, and I know I say this a lot. It depends on the level. Yeah, honestly.
Answer, yes. Okay.
It depends on how well you know the people and on the level of informality.
Yes.
Usually, we don't bring anything for the grill,
Yeah.
but we can bring like a dessert or something as an appetizer. Usually, not anything for the grill, unless you'll have something that's really special and you want to share that sort of treat with everyone else. But usually no. Or a side dish as well. You can also take a side dish.
There you go, James. I imagine that could be a little bit of an alpha male challenge, couldn't it? If you rock up to a barbecue, and if the gentleman of the house is bossing the barbecue, and you bring something along and say, "I'd like to step in and grill this."
It's the same thing as a normal any other celebration during the rest of the year. It's like imagine you're invited to dinner or lunch with a Portuguese family, and you say, I'm taking the main dish. No,
Yeah, no.
Dish.
No. That's trouble. That's trouble. That will keep the tears and the avos talking for generations, won't it? That time when they brought along a main course. Right. Okay. So there you go. That answers your question. The Portuguese will be joining us in a few minutes. I just saw him grasping and strumming something in the background there. He might have a song for us this morning. It might be a bit of live entertainment from the Portuguesa, who I'm looking forward to some of his responses on the bingo card here. That's what we're doing, Tony. We are playing Summertime Portuguese Bingo. I don't know if strumming one's ukulele at a gathering is included. I somehow think not. Here. Maybe
you do know the ukulele has a Portuguese origin, right?
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, doesn't everything have a Portuguese origin on this planet? I think it's fair to say that we can. That's next month's game. The Portuguese invented this, a new game.
A quiz.
We find a way to make everything on the planet and in the universe invented or connected with the country of Portugal. I think we could do it. Again, Hasbro will bite our hand off with that idea. Okay,
that
sorry.
reminds me of an episode from the Fast Show. Okay, never mind. Not the Fast Show, the Goodness Gracious Me.
India. Yeah, that's right. Everything's connected with India, isn't it?
Superman, India.
Yes, sorry, back to bingo and Portugal.
So eating grilled sardines. That's a summer classic, no doubt. And of course, you'll hear the Portuguese people commenting on the quality of the sardines, especially on how fat they are. Saying something like, saying something like, "Oh, this year they're not that good. They're not quite fat yet."
I've not
because
heard
you need that fat. I don't like sardines, okay, but I grew up in the middle of lots of people who love sardines, and apparently, I'm sure you've seen it, especially in festas. You can eat the grilled sardines on top of a slice of bread. Yeah, usually broa.
Yeah.
And so you need that fat from the sardines to drip to your bread.
You do, don't you? And and the other thing, of course, is if they are a little bit old or dirty. If you get a lot of the barker matter inside the sardine. That can spoil it a little bit, can't it? So I can imagine, yes, there is a lot to complain about or praise when it comes to a sardine, as well as the government and the state of the country.
Classic again.
And you would move on, would you? Traditionally at a barbecue, you'd be standing there, you'd have a beer in one hand or a glass of wine, and a sardine on a piece of bread in the other.
Yes.
The sardines are quite fat this year, but honestly, that government, what are they like? Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Perfect.
I'm so proud of you, Carl. You're getting all the imagery right. That's it.
Yes. Oh, you don't know how much that means to me. It's like when Filomena says to me, "Muito bem, Carlitos." You know, I feel like a 5-year-old who's done brilliantly, and I really don't mind that at all. Let's give him a big round of applause because I think he'll have things to add to our Portuguese Summertime Bingo game here. It's the Portugeezer, everybody!
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
I can see myself.
Hello,
Everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, Cátia. Bom dia, I should say. Bom dia. Bom dia, Carl.
I think Bon dia managing editor, if you don't mind. She has a new
Bon dia managing editor.
Yeah, that is how you must refer to her now. Yeah.
Bon dia managing editor.
And that's why she's got top billing, top left of the screen there. We are not worthy, Tony. We're lucky to be here in her presence in the same virtual office. Oh, Mrs. M.
Is that Louisa's hand there?
It
I
is.
see.
Yeah.
Hello, Mrs. M's hand. There we go.
Hello, Mrs. M's hand is the message.
I was going to say, people don't know how aggressive ukulele players can actually be, but if you go onto a surprisingly, I've had a few arguments on the ukulele Facebook groups. I know that'll shock you.
Yeah. What?
But if you want to troll an ukulele group,
yes,
go on there and just say this: ukuleles were invented in Portugal, and then just sit back and watch the fireworks. It's amazing.
Tony, have you done this?
I have done this. Yeah, I have done this. but most people actually think the ukulele was invented in Hawaii.
Yeah,
obviously, it was kind of made famous by was it Elvis in what was that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he played it on the beach in Hawaii, and in that movie that the name escapes.
And a really big tune, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The chap who did that.
That's right. Yeah,
that's immortalized, isn't it?
Yeah. What was his name? It's unpronounceable to me, but
we don't care. We don't care what his name is because it was invented here. It was invented in Portugal, and this is just Hawaiians getting in the way of our glory.
It's an adaptation of the Portuguese cavaquinho. It's not.
That's right. The tuning's a little bit different, and so I mean, but adaptation is a watch any minute now. The people from the ukulele group will be in telling us that we're wrong, but yeah, it is. It's an adaptation.
Have you got time to multitask that, Tony, and actually go onto the group now and say we are discussing the big issue?
Let me just check if I haven't been banned.
You always have to do that when you go on Facebook, don't you? On a number of groups.
I think you know there was a ukulele group on Facebook.
Well,
ukulele, you'd be surprised.
No, I can imagine there is a dark side to the ukulele, and you can tell somebody who's an aficionado because they say ukulele, don't they? Instead of ukulele, they say ukulele.
Yeah. I accept and say both depending on the company.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're so. I mean, despite what people think, you're so open-minded.
Ukulele. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right. And thank you. Before we get back to the bingo, thank you for introducing me to the Gen X Spat group, which is a fantastic idea, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we're all Gen Xers here, aren't we? And
really, Cátia could just be in on the Z's.
I was born in 1980, so
yeah, I think
is she honorary, if not
on the cusp, maybe. Yeah. Well, I noticed on the Gen X group that I invited you to, Carl. I noticed a few boomers have slipped past the censors, but
they haven't they? They always have to do that, don't they? It's like
they have to do that.
Yeah, like we just come in to make sure everything's all right here. Dad, Mum, you're not invited here. This is our place.
Yeah, it's like, Dad, Mum, you left me alone from the age of 5 to 15 with a key to just let myself into the house after school.
That's right. And now
I've been independent.
Yes.
I've been independent since I was a little kid,
Yeah, right. No, I think they should police that a bit more tightly over on Gen Expat and not let any boomers in there, basically.
But it's interesting to listen to the problems of Gen X and a lot of people over there. Blue Hawaii, thank you. That was it. Blue Hawaii. There we go.
Look at these memories are coming back for people. Blue Hawaii was the first film I saw at a drive-in movie. It was 4 years
my
ago.
goodness. Boomer. Boomer alert. There we go. But Carl, they were having a discussion about the language, please. This issue that sometimes people talk. It gets a little bit overblown, doesn't it? The language policing. Yeah. But I'd read an article a while ago about we're not allowed to call orcas killer whales anymore. Do you know that? In case we offend them. I don't know.
Offend who? Offend the whales themselves?
It seems like, and I didn't. To be honest, I didn't read past the headline because there's so much of this nowadays. But it's orcas. Please don't call them killer whales, and that was it.
Really?
But what's happened now is the millennials are going out to look at them off Portugal's coast and getting attacked, aren't they? Because now they're orcas. So my argument is this is a dangerous practice. If we'd have kept on calling them killer, do you know about this? Portugal has actually had to.
I know that boats are being nudged, and which is then described as attacked, right?
Nudged. You're doing it as well. You're changing the language. Attacked.
Well, come on. It's a bit like global boiling, isn't it? I mean, it's hot, and the climate appears to be changing. But you've got to be a little bit careful with the hyperbole, haven't you?
I'm on Euronews.com. Hyperbole.
Oh, okay. Now we're in trouble.
Portugal bans tourist boats from approaching orcas after a series of ramming incidents. Yeah, okay. Now, if we'd have kept calling them killer whales, my argument is that perhaps tourists wouldn't have been out there trying to pat them in the first place.
Fair point. Fair point. And I also think it's like something that has always gone on. Boats have always been hit by whales. People have always been stupidly curious enough to try and approach them for that to happen. Yeah. And now we're just seeing more reporting of it, aren't we? And this is a note to the managing editor. Please don't do this. You've got a big responsibility now to be on hyperbole alerts as a managing editor.
Well, we could say something like orcas, formerly known as killer whales.
Yes, there you go. That's fair.
For good reason.
That's fair. That is fair.
Like that.
Yeah,
something
and
like
writers love it as well, don't they? Because they've got less to write. If you've got to put in these massive explanations and you're thinking, I've got 1,000 words to fill in here, all those extra things in brackets really help.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're a writer, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Portuguesa. Didn't expect to be talking about ukuleles or killer whales this morning. They are not part of the bingo, I notice. As far as I'm aware.
Surprising, right. I know.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Okay. Right. We need to catch up, don't we, with the Portuguesa here. So can we very quickly go across these? If you can give me or a yay or a nay or a now here, Tony. Have you been to the beach or the river beach yet?
Yes, I have.
Have you attended or hosted a barbecue?
Nay.
Oh, have you eaten a bolish de belly at the beach?
It's possible.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to have a no. Yeah, I think that's a no, isn't it? Go to at least one. Please tell me you've been to a local festa this year.
No.
Oh my! Do we? It's quiet. I've even got the sound effect.
No. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
How many times have you said that already today, Tony?
I'm the guy at midnight. Yeah. Saying, when are they going to stop that bloody music? That's who I am. Yeah, it's terrible. Isn't it?
Okay. So you're not the Portuguese guy who's saying when are they going to start that bloody music?
No, do you know? A lot of people would be surprised to hear this, but I'm very much an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy because I'm a farmer.
Okay. Yeah, but come on, Tony. The Portuguese farmers are there at midnight.
Yeah, believe me, I know they are. Yes. I know they are. Yeah.
Well, he's not doing very well so far.
What is it? What is it called? It's called like Portuguese disco music.
Well, that's on the board. No, don't spoil it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh no, that's just talking about a different thing, not what's on the board. It's talking about a different thing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Have you complained about prices in touristy places? You must have done that.
I complain about prices all the time. So, yes.
we say yes on that. Have you eaten any grilled sardines yet this year?
No.
This is quite disappointing and awkward so far, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Have you? Oh, come on. Have you complained about the state of the country?
You know what? I want to put it in context. I want. This is one of those questions they ask at the. One of those. What do they call it? Like a trap question.
Oh, like your social entrapment.
Maybe, but I would say that on balance, I'm usually praising the country. Yeah,
He's done terribly. I mean, what sort of...
I'm not doing very well.
What sort
I know the next one. That is the flag of Portugal.
Aha.
Yeah, you're right. Fair enough.
Thank you.
You get that for that. Have you? So let's, if you don't mind, we've recapped with Tony here. He's not done very well. And you must try harder, please, Portuguese. Back to you, Cátia.
So next one, eating churros and or farturas at the festa.
Farturas.
Yeah. And churros.
I read that. I read that completely different.
Okay, I can take this a stage further. I have not only done that, but I've started my own brand.
Wow, there we go.
Is that okay for you?
Your own brand of farturas.
Yes, okay. Are you aware of the comedic interest here, Cátia? You must be. The immature people like me and Tony still giggle when we walk past a farturas van.
Yeah.
Our children are more mature than we are, aren't they? The joke is tired for them. For us, it never ceases to give us a little giggle.
Can I just ask? I know I'm interrupting a bit, but do you think I look better than normal? Because I noticed now, before we come into the room, there's a new little checkbox, isn't there, that says "touch up my appearance."
Did you do?
And I clicked it, and it's not bad actually.
I am aroused.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't try? I suppose there are different people. It divides people, doesn't it? In this polar age in which we live, there are those who click on the touch-up button and those who would be completely offended.
I didn't even see a touch-up button.
I can demonstrate. I think you do have access to it. So I'm going to touch up my appearance as well.
Maybe they only give it to people who they think need it.
There you go.
I don't know if I should take that the wrong way, or Cátia can take that the right way. Yeah.
Both Tony and I are being touched up as we speak. Yeah. Have you still got? You have got your button on still on, haven't you? It has brought a softness to your otherwise angular features, Tony.
Yeah.
Your chiseled jaw looks a little bit like it's got a bit of filler.
I do have a chiseled jaw underneath this protective layer. Yeah.
What do you think, ladies? And of course, again, this is how you'd have to write it in a magazine. What do you think, ladies and guys who like guys? Of course.
And everyone in between.
Everyone in between. You see, these articles are writing themselves. And it's a job for AI, of course. Okay, well, let's stay with the touch-up. It's slowing down my bit rate or something like that, isn't it? But Tony and I are quite liking it. I think the way we keep looking at it ourselves like that.
Yeah.
But it's not part of the bingo. However, so we have eaten. We should say what these are. Hot dogs and farturas would be. I mean, it's not right to say donut, is it?
No, they're not. No, not donuts. It's like a deep fried dough, and they're not exactly the same because farturas are a bit more fluffy and light. And churros, you can buy them like you have what they call churritos, the smaller ones.
Yes.
And you can buy like half a dozen or a dozen.
Yes.
And then you can have the bigger ones, the churros, and sometimes you can not. Well, quite often you also have them with fillings, like with syrup and Nutella as well, Kinder Bueno, that sort of thing.
And that's what the injection. Sorry, I'm calling them hot dogs there. Of course, no, we're talking about basically a dough, aren't we? A deep fried dough. But so that's why there's a kind of donutty element. But these are uniquely Portuguese, and there is an injection system that pumps morango jam in, or Nutella, or apple, or something like that.
Churros are actually from Spain, but we've adopted them. Yeah, it's true. Fartura is actually more Portuguese.
Okay.
And they're both rolled in the sugar and powdered cinnamon, because Portugal and we love cinnamon. So
Because Portugal invented cinnamon, of course. Right. And then, so in which order?
The first ukuleles were made of cinnamon, actually. little known fact, yeah. Little known fact.
Oh, yes, I think I saw that. And so when Vasco da Gama was taking his first sailors abroad, they took ukuleles made of cinnamon so that they could entertain each other if it got difficult. Not the sailors, the ukuleles. Right. Is this chronological? Should we have done this in a particular order? Eaten sardines, complained about the state of the country, then eaten some churros or faturas, and then danced. That's asking for trouble, isn't it? And this is not the music Tony was talking about, is it?
no.
Pimba.
Tell us about Pimba.
No. Pimba, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. We've got you.
Okay. And, if I'm on the show, there's going to be a little technical issue. Yeah.
We've done very well so far. We've done very well so far. It started when we started. I've turned off my touch up now because I think that's not helping. But carry on with our description of Pimba, if you will, then please.
Pimba, yeah, Pimba. Pimba actually originates in popular music that was common in festas, but then sometime in the 90s it just gained a different appearance, and it's very, very much associated with not very much associated with it, but relies heavily on puns and sexual innuendos. Yeah.
It was made for us. It was made for the British sense of humour. It's part of the relationship that dates back to the Treaty of Windsor. I think there's something in the Treaty of Windsor that recognises the interest in sexual innuendo between the Portuguese and the British. And Benny Hill, I think, even said Benny Hill was invented in Portugal, wasn't he? Another thing.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
And the accordion, the sound, the accordion,
the old twirling tassels. I bet you got a pair of them, Carl, haven't you?
Yeah. Have you not?
Yeah, of course I have.
It looks good on touch up. No. It looks good. It looks good on touch up mode. Okay. All right. I thought he was going to get his tassels out for a minute. When it comes to the touch up, you're looking good, but I think Cátia's still without a touch up button on. I'm saying, my goodness, it sounds like I've been missing an exceptional fun time. So no, it continues. You can have a quick recap here, Bob, and see which of these you've done. And I suspect it's many. So Pimba music is different to. Could you do an impersonation again, Portuguese, of the music that keeps you up at 2 a.m. that you don't like?
The boom, 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 boom. Well, that's all I can hear.
Yeah,
but I'm familiar with this style of music. I think, it's kind of like a techno beat with like folk style lyrics over it. I think.
Oh, okay.
It's something like that.
Yeah,
I've seen. The other day I wanted to make a video about my motorcycle, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I really rode out to the middle of nowhere near an old Roman bridge, and I parked up. And just as I parked up and got set up, I'm assuming he was Portuguese guy. I'm assuming, but he pulled up in his car,
dangerous,
and just took his shirt off. No joke. Put this Pimba music on as loud as he could. I mean, really full blast, and just stood next to his car, having a cigarette. And I'm just looking at him going, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" And I mean, this is like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Yeah, and he stayed for about 20-30 minutes, I think.
You must have been fuming.
Incredible.
You must have been fuming by that point.
Well, it's a free country. But yeah,
you're free to be furious.
Yeah, that's right. My freedom of speech included. Oh, fuck off.
Well, everyone's at it, you see, with the music. Even the papal visit had this fantastic DJ priest from Braga, and he mixed up some tunes. This was 7 a.m. You think that's bad at 3 p.m? Apparently, all the people that were waiting to see the Pope got woken up the morning of the Pope's address at 7 a.m. by Padre Guilherme Pajotto.
Wow.
Who entertained with a set that included some wonderful Vivaldi's Gloria was mixed into the set.
I tell you what,
they loved it.
He's a good-looking guy. He's a good looking
Yes,
guy.
now you
isn't
mention it. Touch-up filter or not, do we think?
I don't know. There might be a bit of touch-up.
I think it's dangerous territory if we're talking about priests and touch-up filters. So let's stay away from that. That's a difficult subject, which I'm regretting even mentioning. Okay, back to bingo.
Back to bingo.
Okay, right. Okay. Let's see now. Okay.
Well, visit friends.
Benny Hill, ukuleles, and now visiting friends and family. Go on, sorry, Cátia, you go ahead.
Yeah, visiting friends and or family who live in other parts of the country. Quite self-explanatory, you know. There are a lot of, especially around the mid-20th century, there are a lot of people going from one part of the country to another, mostly to the city. So it's not uncommon for people to go visit their grandparents or uncles or cousins in another part of the country. So,
and mainly on a Sunday morning, do we notice?
Not necessarily, but yeah.
Right.
Sunday is always that time for family gatherings and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that to me is a traditional Sunday morning. Go see family in other parts of the country, get stopped in a police check along the way, pay €80. It's all part of a fun day out on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on to the next box.
The next one. Oh yeah, go to a wedding or christening. One of the reasons why, or one of the main reasons why there are so many of these happening in Portugal in the summer. On one hand, it has to do with the weather being good, of course, so you can spend more time outside, all of that, having your drink outside. But it also has to do with all the people who migrated, again, especially around the mid-20th century. And today it's a bit different because, plane tickets are cheaper, but there were a lot of immigrants, the word, right?
Yes.
Coming to spend some time in Portugal in the summer. So summer still is the quintessential time for this sort of event, because it's likely that your uncle who lives in France will come, your cousins who live in Switzerland or Luxembourg will also be able to show up. And there are also still today a lot of couples who are Portuguese descendants, and they choose to marry or have the kids christened here in Portugal in the summer because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Tony's nodding now. I mean, are you seeing a lot of this in Central Portugal, the homecoming?
I bet you are.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting. A lot of people obviously come back. I think it's not just from abroad, but even from like Lisbon and Porto and Coimbra. They come back from the city. So I think a lot of people, their parents still live in the village, or even they have homes in the village that are near us. There are some homes that only seem to be occupied during the summer, and quite often there's obviously an extended family there for those weeks. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
And what might be another? You think to yourself, don't you? No one lives here for the rest of the year, and then suddenly a tiny little village in the middle of nowhere is swollen by the incoming, family members returning. It's almost like the village lives for that time of year. And the speakers go up on the lampposts and the pimp music.
But Portugal comes to life in the summer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even just I live in a small town, and I tell you, in summer you feel like, where did all these people come from?
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's just visitors. I think it's just people actually going out, and being on the street. I think in winter here people tend to just stay indoors. What do you think, Cátia? Do you think?
Yeah, it's true. And some years ago that happened almost exclusively in August. August was the month for that. Now again, like I said, with plane tickets being cheaper, it's easier to just and people, the way they vacation is also different. But it used to be August, like the 1st of August, 2nd of August.
Yeah.
The flood of people.
So many things on in town, isn't there? It seems like every other day there's some kind of festas, or there'll be a band playing, or there'll be some kind of show. Like the park will. It seems like twice a week the park is kind of given over to some kind of event, and everyone's there. Yeah, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, because you have the traditional events like I mentioned in the beginning, like historical dates, religious festivities, all of that. But then you also have other types of small festivals that people organize, fairs, all of that. Because there are more people around. So obviously.
Well said,
Yeah,
Tony. The Portuguese, Portugal comes alive in the summer, and that could be, that could be a strapline for tourism here, couldn't it? It really does, and this is a partying country, certainly in the summer, which I don't think the tourist authorities or whatever they are, representatives, really have made the most of. That you can come and party for 2 weeks solidly, just tuning in, dropping into various places all over the country every single year.
I think I would just quickly add. I know we're going off topic a bit, but Portugal does have its charms in the winter. I mean, a lot of, especially I think maybe Brits or other people from Northern Europe, sometimes are a bit shocked at how cold winter can be. But in my neck of the woods, with the Serra da Estrellas mountains and the snow, it's really beautiful, and you can actually go and find, postcard style villages, covered in snow. And so there is that as well. So
absolutely, and a parsnip
don't
festival.
discount Portugal in the winter.
Well said. He needs to be hired by Portugal or Visit Portugal, isn't he? Tourism people.
They're paying me.
Oh, well done, Pete. Do they approve of you having a touch-up filter? I wonder. When you're delivering these messages,
it's contractual. I'm contractually obliged. Yeah, contractually obliged.
That makes sense. So Pete is trying to get onto the board here, and he's working his way towards a full house. For us foreigners, it could be more difficult to get invited to a christening or a wedding. Would a birthday party count for us?
I'm sorry, I don't really understand the question. In terms of being invited
on your board here, there is, being invited to a christening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
What's that? It's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, I suppose in a way it's.
I'm hearing a no there. Sorry, Pete. So the last three on the board here. Let us know how you've done out of 15. Everybody, this will go up on Cátia's blog, which she will provide the link for before she goes today. The new managing editor of a Letter magazine. Eating way too much. Everybody's done that, haven't they? This summer.
Yeah,
that's an easy one to do. Trying to cope with tourists. Now we've all done that. Here we are. The foreigners coming in and complaining about tourists. You've come a certain way.
I haven't had that problem since we moved away from Nazaré. But I would say the thing about living in Nazaré, which is a beautiful place, by the way, beautiful place to visit, is if you live there in summer, you basically can't use your own town. All your favorite cafes are absolutely rammed. You can hardly walk on the footpath. You have kind of a narrow window just at the beginning of summer and at the end of summer, and then everything shuts. So this is why we ended up moving away from Nazaré. We were there for a year. I literally never went to the beach in the whole time. We would go inland. We would go inland to the river beaches, and then to eat out, we would go into Alcobaça.
Wow.
I know, Carl. You know where Alcobaça is.
Yeah.
So we would go there, and I know you live in San Martino.
San Martino de Porto, yeah.
Nazaré is
challenge, yeah.
Nazaré is worse.
Yeah,
it's worse for.
I can believe that.
Yeah. So beautiful place, but
feeling your pain there, and useful advice to anyone thinking about moving to the Silver Coast. So that's we're feeling that pain of trying to cope with tourists. It has an asterisk on it though. Why would that be?
Yeah, because sometime like a week or so ago, I asked on my Instagram stories, what do you think? I think I also did that on Facebook. What do you think is a Portuguese or stereotypical Portuguese summertime activity? And there was someone there on Instagram who is actually not Portuguese who said this, trying to cope with tourists. So the asterisk is to explain this. That was actually suggested by someone who is not Portuguese and does not even live here. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And finally then on the bingo card, Portuguese Summertime Bingo. We've had a lot of fun playing it this morning. Catch up with your emigrant friend, family member. So this is the time of a year to be catching up with those primos and primas, right?
Yeah, and the uncle and grandmother and all that.
Tia and Tio, yeah. I asked Filomena yesterday if my children should call her Tia Filomena, and because I thought that would be respectful, and she said, "I'm not from Cascais." The Tia thing is a thing, isn't it? The auntie mafia, I suppose, especially so in the village of Cascais. we didn't answer that question. Maybe I'll ask you again tomorrow. But if my children are addressing a member of the family older than themselves, who is not obviously their mum or dad, and is not directly related, what should they have said, Cátia?
What as
should they? Tia is good, is it? Or do you know if they're
just
asking?
call the person by name. Or
Is that
you
right?
can,
Tony, that's new to us, isn't it? If
although, for example, it's common for cousins to call each other cousin instead of always using the name, calling it the other person cousin.
Right.
Also, uncle and auntie or something like that, or just the name. It depends a bit on the families. Like, for example, if you have the tu and você, right? And you'll see that older people, you will usually address their parents as você.
Okay.
Not because they're posh, but because it was a stricter, education.
Yes. Well,
I treat my mom for tu and my grandmother too as well, but an older generation will treat their parents and grandparents as você. Because
very interesting. Good to know. This is useful stuff, because when our families meet, when I meet the Bryant family, I'm expecting my children to call him Mr. Bryant until he invites them to say, it's sir to you or something different to that. That's how we brought up, wasn't it, in Victorian England, Tony?
Just my first name.
It's funny. After living in Hong Kong for years, I'm used to being called Mr. Tony. This is something that happens. You know why that happens, right? Because in China, they reverse the names, or maybe we reverse the names. Who knows?
Yes.
But yeah.
Exactly.
So I've got teacher friends who are like Mr. Paul, Mr. Matthew, Mr. John. Miss Trudy, like that. So and even now it still really sticks. So even my kids call me Mr. Tony, which is really
that's fantastic.
But it's stuck, Yeah.
We also do that. I'm sure you must have heard of Senhor Zé, Senhor Antonio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ana Maria, Senhora Maria, Senhora Filomena.
Oh, that's interesting. So people probably think that I'm just really down with the lingo. That's what I'm going to stick with.
I always did. Yeah,
I'm going to stick with it.
Well done. It's great to keep you guys. I mean, you're all right for like 5 minutes more this morning.
I actually do have to go. I have a
share with us, Tony, if you will, then your final words on this or any other matter, because we're always interested to hear from your unique.
My final word today is I'm trying to really push my YouTube channel.
Go on.
And try to take it a little bit more seriously, and I'm wanting to do some videos about like farming life and just life in general around central Portugal that might be interesting to people or might not. But if you are interested, it's at YouTube at The Portugeeza. So
I'm already subscribed.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe. Yeah. And a final word to you from Peter as well. With that fine head, he says, I think to blend in with rural Portugal, you should seriously consider a comb over or a more radical comb forward or beard over. So a little bit of fashion advice there as well.
I'll seriously consider that, but the longest hair on my body is on my on my chest. So I'm not sure I could quite comb that over.
I'd like to, but I would watch that YouTube channel if you try. Cheers.
And the twirling tassels. And
the Benny Hill twirling tassels. Tony, thank you so much. Great to see you. Good luck with the YouTube channel.
Bye-bye.
He's busy. He's either going to go back to the fields or do a bit of teaching online. He's always fantastic fun to speak.
I was actually going to suggest he should get a mustache.
A tash. Okay, yeah. All right. I don't know if you're still hearing us, Tony, but if you could grow a moustache between now, that's a test of a man, isn't it? By the time we see you next month, could you have grown a moustache, please? The bingo card will be on your blog later on today. Yeah. What's the name of the blog, please, Cátia?
Beyond Lisbon. You can find me on beyondlisbon.wordpress.com.
Okay, and I'm going to put the link to the chat there. If you can stick around just long enough to hear a few of the comments that have come in, I'd be grateful. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Sure.
Fantastic, brilliant. Okay, and I can't believe how quickly this show has gone past this morning. I still have a Portugal quiz question for you as well. Not for you, Cátia, because you know exactly what I'm talking about with the business.
And that's actually very much of a, again, not exclusively summary activity, but very much summer activity. Yeah.
All right. So there's a little clue for you. Let's see what people have been saying. Yes, we solved the mystery. It was Blue Hawaii that Elvis was in with the ukulele. I think that's where Tony's gone to stir up trouble on the ukulele Facebook group. Israel, or deal with the fallout. Israel, Izzy. He did say it was difficult to pronounce. Kamakawaole. Wonderful World, Over the Rainbow mashup. Yes, everyone knows that tune, don't they? Which becomes an earworm for the rest of the day. Wish I could buy the Morgan. Mad for Morgans. Joao Ferreira is obviously in the building. With the matter of killer whales, stupid humans approaching baby animals. What? Protected by their full-grown parents. Exactly. What's this? Stop complaining. He's not really, is he? I did not realize, says Joao, that you had a Shurosh and Faturosh kiosk. Carlitos kiosk. It's not really mine, but when I saw it there outside the Setirio station, I thought I had to get a picture. My goodness. Yeah, good to have you here, Bob. Thank you for your kind words. Joao F. also agreeing with you, Bob. Allow me to enhance the fact that Cátia Lima is looking astonishingly beautiful, just being herself. No filters or treatment like Tony and I have to resort to there.
Thank you. Too kind.
Techno sounds like Portuguese trance-ish, the music Tony doesn't like. Does a first birthday party count? Yes, we'll take that, but not strictly speaking, Pete. I think cars are being sold in the chat this morning. XR3s, Morgans. Several houses on our street are only occupied in August and at Christmas and Easter. Tell us about that, Cátia. So people have their houses here. They've moved away. They work abroad. There might be a family house that they inhabit when they come back.
Yeah, that's it very much. Sometimes they don't necessarily go abroad, but to a city. I don't know if that's the case here, but that's not uncommon. So you have like the family house in a village or a smaller town, but everyone in the family lives scattered across the country in bigger towns or cities. Yeah. Okay. So everyone then goes. There's actually a Portuguese expression for that. Ir à terra. With terra here meaning ir à terra, meaning go to the forefathers or ancestors' home.
The country home. The country home. Yes. And that is a really good thing to discover. While you've got all these expats, immigrants, foreigners trying to decide which is the best place to live in Portugal, it's not so much of a problem for Portuguese people who do have this facility of being able to go to a relative's home or the old family home. I think that's lovely, and that's a strategy that should be adopted. I think I certainly want to do that in older age. You can't really go wrong. What's this? If you use senora there. Until invited, says James, to be less formal, Senor James, Senor Slug. That's how we should refer to him. I think he's a signposting there. When I worked in Indonesia, says Sarah, good morning to you. I was Mrs. Sarah. I remained Mrs. Sarah with some of the young geographers. Yeah, it catches on, doesn't it? And I like it until I told them to knock it off. So I'm certainly happy about that. Brilliant. Okay, Cátia, this is the link people need for later on. Please share as well the wonderful bingo card that Cátia has created there. A lot of fun this morning. And again, congratulations on your new position. Have you already started, or is it about to start?
No, I've already started, yeah. First unofficially and now officially. Yeah.
Yes. So. Okay. And any final words of advice for us then as we embark on this bingo card and try and cross off a few more boxes?
Have fun. It's summer. Silly season. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Cátia. Very thoughtful, very, very conscientious and very entertaining as ever. And good luck in the new role. Take care. Bye for now. And we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Superb. There she goes. Cátia Lima, 10 minutes past 10. We should have finished long ago. Sorry to keep you, all of you, Tony and Cátia and you. If you're still tuned in with us, thank you so much. Join us tonight at 7:30 for the webinar where we'll be reviewing the D7. Isn't it amazing how the D7 conversations have changed over the years from being able to just book an Airbnb for your accommodation and now you need a tenancy agreement. Other things have changed. Also find out what they are at 7:30 this evening and stick around for the Dream Team session at 9 o'clock as well, hosted by myself in the company of some of the greatest professionals in the migration to Portugal business. A great show. Thanks, everyone, says Pete. Good to have you here, Pete. Staying out of the heat, I suspect, until it gets cooler later and to get back out there on the plot and do a bit more work in the garden. Finally, then, this morning, let's have a look at our Portugal quiz question of the day. What is it? It's one of those what is it questions. It was great to see Filomena and husband Paolo yesterday at the San Martino Silver Coast meetup. And she came bearing gifts, including lingua de gato, cat's tongue biscuits, enjoyed by the kids, of course, and a device made locally to her in Miranda de Corvo near Coimbra, pictured. What is this grey item on top of the beautifully embroidered tablecloth? And what is its purpose? If I zoom in there, you can see the lovely tablecloth. That photo worked well. That was taken late last night. On an office chair. It looks like it's been set up in a studio, doesn't it? Sometimes that happens serendipitously like that. What is that device? That kind of gunmetal grey device that you see before you on the screen? Have a guess over at learnaboutportugal.com. Yeah, let us know what you think that might be. Is it because the Portuguese invented virtual reality headsets, and that might well be an early example. Take care, folks. Have a great day. Bye for now. See you tonight at 7 if you're on the webinar, or 9 for the Dream Team. And tomorrow, of course, for a little bit of this.
Featherman Friday.
Until then, until we see each other again, seriously, have a great day. And maybe watch, remember that, did you see the love section yesterday? Me and Mrs. M on Ask Anything About Portugal Day. We were enchanted and moved deeply by Chris's anecdote of his what happened to him on a UK commuter train, which has been clipped and is on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to ours, subscribe to the Portuguesers. Until tomorrow or this evening, we'll see you again real soon. Take care. Bye for now. Have a great day.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.